Hi, I'm Tiara.
And I'm Dan.
And we're with popcults.com, and today we're going to be talking about the new movie, Oz, the Great and Powerful.
Yeah, not just any Oz.
The Great and Powerful.
The Great and Powerful Oz, yeah.
But the question is, was Oz really all that great or all that powerful?
It doesn't matter if he was. It only matters that the people think that he was.
I see.
That's the moral of this movie.
I see. Okay. Well, let's talk a little bit about the plot of the movie without giving too many spoilers. So,
Okay.
This movie, I think it's supposed to be not a sequel to, like, kind of the Wizard of Oz book, like the book that the movie that we all know and love is based on, but it's a prequel to the movie. So it kind of starts out similar to the movie in the whole black and white world, and then, of course, there's the tornado that takes Oz to Oz.
Yeah. And once he gets there, the screen whoosh, and then it's all color from there on out.
Yeah.
Beautiful computer-generated color.
Yeah. Sidebar, the CGI in this movie I think is really amazing. But we'll get back to that in a second, because I know you have a few comments on that, and so do I. Anyways, Oz is greeted by a witch, who's a good witch, of course.
Yes.
Good witch. And basically, long story short, 3 witches, 2 of whom are sisters, and not at least one of them that's not very nice,
right,
are trying to fight Glinda, the good witch,
yeah,
to take control of Oz. And so there was a prophecy from Glinda's father that a man with the same name as the land, a.k.a. Oz,
yeah,
would come and save them all. So James Franco is this man, and he's not really, obviously, a wizard. He's a carnival magician and, like, a con artist.
Yeah. So, I mean, they have more relativism in this movie. See, instead of just having the Wicked Witch, everyone in this movie claims to be the Good Witch.
Yes.
So, but some of them are Wicked Witches.
Yes, indeed.
Spoilers. But I thought it was interesting the way that it presented Oz as this character who was just kind of a terrible person for most of the movie, and we're kind of on board with it. Like, he's just, thinks all of this stuff is weird, and so do we, but he just doesn't take the movie seriously for most of the movie.
Yeah.
Which is kind of, I guess, sort of gets to my general problem with the movie.
Right.
Which is that it doesn't feel like a real movie. It feels like it's not. I kept expecting it to turn out to be an SNL sketch or something. Like I think it's the James Franco-ness combined with other problems that it has.
There were several issues with this movie. I would say one of the biggest problems, and I think the thing that, like, goes the most into what you're saying, is the dialogue.
Yeah.
The dialogue was just kind of really super, super, super cheesy.
Yeah. And nobody can do much with it. I feel like I think the moment I really got on board, it took me forever to get on board with this movie while it was happening. And I think the moment, what helped me get on board with it more was when Michelle Williams showed up in the movie partway through. She was the person who was, I think, doing the best job with the material that she had.
Right.
And that helped, the fact that there was someone in it who was taking it seriously helped me get on board with the rest of it, I feel like.
Yeah, it definitely helped, but still, like, I don't know, there's, like, this strange disconnect. I know that, Oz is supposed to be this great magical land, but, like, when you first get there and you see all of the CGI, it's like it's almost too much. It's too obvious CGI. It's too fake, and I think that, that just, like, instead of making it seem magical and mysterious and wonderful, it just makes it seem kind of, I don't know, like, obviously, it makes it seem CGI. It makes it seem, like, impossible, and, like, the whole point of this type of thing is to suspend your element of disbelief in order to believe that you're in this magical place, etc. Right. And I'm not sure how the 3D is, because we saw it in 2D, so, I don't know if that would have made it any better.
Well, I think that the issue with some of the CGI is not so much how much of it there is, it's just there's no practical part of it. If you watch Lord of the Rings, some parts of that are models or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard to tell sometimes. what's real and what's CGI, and here it's all CGI.
Right, exactly.
You know, there's nothing there that you're looking at that is actually there. So it kind of disconnects it further.
Yeah. And like there were lots of complaints. Like Jezebel had like this whole article about how like this movie was a step back for women's rights.
I had that thought during the movie, and I did not see that article. And I feel like getting into it would be too big of spoilers. Why? But let's just say I am not happy with like the origins of the actual Wicked Witch. I feel like
the problem is that when you boil it down to it, there's two problems when you're talking about things that are related to the Wizard of Oz. The first problem is that in like all of the L. Frank Baum books, the protagonist is like a female. Like Baum was a like feminist before. He's like a hipster feminist. He was a feminist before it was cool for guys to be feminists. And so, like, even, like, outside of the most famous book, which was made famous by the movie, there's other characters, and they're, all of the protagonists are strong female characters, and the males are, other characters within the books. Like, even, like, when there is, like, a male protagonist, you go through, there's a book, Ozma of Oz.
Yeah.
And the main character in that is a boy, but what you find out later is that the Wicked Witch turned Princess Ozma into a boy, and like near the end of the book, she turns back into a princess after she's gone through all these trials. So even the whole time, it was actually a woman, gender bending, woo, crazy. Yeah. But, then I think that's the problem, is that they made the wizard the protagonist. And then also, it's like this horrible love square thing.
Yeah, it is. And it sort of turns into him looking at all these dumb women around him, basically, who believe him. And I guess the only one who really comes off okay is Michelle Williams. But
right, who's Glinda?
Yeah, who's Glinda the Good Witch in this movie. I guess, but you have actually said that you liked the movie, so I'd like to hear some of the stuff you liked about it.
Well, I think it was fun, and it wasn't exactly that it was like the best movie ever that I've ever seen. OMG, like I loved it, but it wasn't like the most horrible movie I've ever seen. So.
Well, I definitely laughed in parts, which there's plenty of like action-y movies lately where they can't execute any of the jokes correctly, and there's like some actual jokes in this movie.
Right. Even though, the parts that made you not like the movie as much was that you were expecting it to be an SNL skit and you couldn't take it seriously, I think that made me like it, because I went in, like, after reading several reviews of how, like, horrible the movie was, and I was expecting, the dialogue is cheesy and things like that, but, like, just the character of Oz as this, like, womanizing con man, and he just like obviously throughout the movie doesn't care.
Yeah.
And I just like I found that amusing, and I liked I liked a lot of the little tiny bits. I liked how impressive the CGI was.
It was very good.
Even though it was, like I said, a little overwhelming at the beginning. I liked. Sorry, that's our new puppy. He's including his barks in the review. But I liked the little quirky bits of humor.
Yeah.
And I liked that they, halfway through the movie, they kind of tried to salvage it by making Glinda like an actual intelligent character,
right,
who, even though in the end she did rely on Oz, she wasn't completely reliant on him, and she actually had some kind of intelligence and brains that was more than just, oh, I'm going to have the throne, or I'm going to meet someone and fall in love with them in 2 seconds, and that's all I care about, which was the other two witches, basically, in a nutshell. There was nothing...
Which are played in the movie by Rachel Weisz and Mila Kunis, both of whom are great actresses, though you would never know it from this movie.
Yeah, it's, it was not like the best movie ever. It wasn't the worst movie ever. It was fun. I definitely probably won't ever watch it again.
Right. I actually had an okay time, even though I wasn't real thrilled with the movie itself. On that note, I'm Dan.
And I'm Tiara, and we're with popcults.com. Check us out online, and we're also on Facebook and Twitter, same name. So we'll see you next time when we review some other movies or maybe some television. We'll see. All right, thanks.
Bye.
If there was any barking or growling or running around that you heard during this review, we apologize. This is Mary Addock, aka Mary. He is our new friend, and he is the new brother of our other dog, Pippin, and he is very excited and likes to play, even during reviews of movies. So we apologize for any kind of background disturbances.